Oh, this is so embarrassing. I can't believe I've forgotten all of my lines for the intro. Wait, I've got an idea. Go, gadget printer. Yes. Can't believe this is working. I'm printing from my own head. Hello everybody, welcome to Minecraft The Journey episode 46. This is the amazing Let's Play series where we have been upgrading a survival world of Minecraft from the earliest available development versions, and we are upgrading this world right up until the current release, whatever that will be, whenever we get there. Right now, we're playing in Minecraft Alpha version 1.2.0_02, and we've been exploring the Halloween update, which was released on the 30th of October 2010. That version brought us new textures for everything we see around us, as well as a new dimension called the Nether, new mobs, new features, new blocks, all sorts of things like that. And in the last episode, we built this thing. We've just called it the Mob Wrangler because that's exactly what you do with this thing. You equip yourself with a fishing rod, you head out to the spawning platforms here and see what mobs you can find, and then you... missed it, then you... missed it, then you... missed it. Oh, this is just not... Let's try this again, shall we? Much better. It even works at night as well. Oh, no! But I have been working on enhancing this thing in between episodes, and I wanted to take you through some of the changes. First, you can see we now have full grass on both platforms, which is really good for these passive mobs. I've also installed some chests here with fishing rods, so that as you're running up and down, you can just replenish your supplies fairly quickly, and we might fill them up with a few more as well. I've also built a killing chamber down the bottom, which I'm going to go down to in a moment, but before I do, let's talk about this bridge. This is just a temporary bridge at the moment, but it does link our main house island with this farm here, which is actually pretty cool because I can run up and down here if I want to, and I can completely withdraw myself from the area, allowing new mobs to spawn, things like that. Geez, it looks busy at the moment. Should we give it a go? I'm very bad at this. Come on, piggy. Oh, yes. Good work. And we're going to develop this bridge a little bit more and make it look better because this, I tell you, this is just temporary. I've built some staircases down here as well, so you can pop down to this level and then you can pop down underneath the farm in order to be able to collect all of the drops. There's a 2-wide staircase here, which I've decorated with some reeds, and you need to put in some water, of course, to make sure that the reeds will grow, and then some logs as well to make it sort of a reed log texture going down. As you reach the bottom of the farm, you find the killing platform, and this is where all the mobs will fall down to their demise, and I can pick up all of their drops and put it in the chests. But I've also decorated this room, as you can see. I'm just using a lot of the available blocks that we have, like logs and slabs and cobble, things like that. You can't do much better at the moment, not too many blocks to choose from. But we've got storage on both sides to hold all of our drops. Speaking of dropping, first over here we have got the area where we've been storing all of the pork chops. Pork chops only stack in one per slot, so we have to have a lot of chests dedicated to pork chops. Ow! Excuse me. To pork chops. Excuse you. The chickens are annoying because the chickens float down the killing chamber and they will not die, so I'm thinking that I might install a lava blade just like this. Look. And they take up the mob cap, assuming these versions have a mob cap, and that's bad because it means that no more passive mobs will spawn up the top. What I have found with this farm is that I can just stay down the bottom here and mobs will spawn up there on the surface and then they'll just make their way into the system. So if I don't want to wrangle them with the fishing rod, I can just stay down here and AFK. And unfortunately, you get drops on both sides, so I have to go round and round to pick them up. But basically, if I AFK down here or stay down here for any length of time, I get quite a few good drops, especially at night time where I get arrows and I get sulfur. And those are things that are hard to come by. So here we've got storage for the actual mob drops other than the pork. We've got leather in this one. We've got feathers in this one. We have got string in this one. Arrows, although honestly I've been keeping them because they're quite useful. And over here we've got sulfur. Let's not forget it's not gunpowder, it's called sulfur. But I'm hoping to amass quite a collection of this sulfur because it's hard to get in the real world. You have to go up and kill creepers and they leave explodey holes everywhere, which is not what we want at all. But I'm most excited about the fact that we have so many pork chops that we can just pop over here. We can cook them right up. That's a waste if I don't wait for it. Oh, I really am waiting for hoppers. That'll just revolutionize all of this stuff, won't it? But there we go. We can cook up the pork chops like that. And now I've got a really, really good supply. I can just come down here at any time I need a fresh supply and top up. So I'm really looking excited for that. Now, I got a great comment in my last episode from Felipe Y, who says there is some quirky stuff going on with cactuses in this version of Minecraft. And I love it when I get comments about stuff that I've overlooked or things that I didn't know about in these versions. So keep them up. Let me know. Remember, I never played these versions, so I don't remember all of the little quirks and things about these versions to explore. So do let me know in the comments. Now, you can't place a cactus on a block like this. However, if the block is on fire, you can. Isn't that weird? We've seen this before when the cactuses were first introduced. You could place them onto blocks like this. In fact, we had a little section over here showing the bottom of a cactus with a cactus block in the sky, but that was changed. So somewhere along the way, the fire is allowing you to place cactuses on any old block in the game. If the cactus grows, the cactus will pop off because it will register a block update and detect that it's on the wrong block. But if we put a block on top to stop the cactus from growing, then it should, in theory, stay on this block. And downstairs in the bottom, I've got a couple of places where I know that I want to install some cactuses. Now, as you know, we've had a chicken problem in here, so I installed this chicken pest control, and my hope was that the chickens would actually run into this and take damage and then die. I'm not really sure that they're doing it, so maybe what we could do instead is use this trick to our advantage. I have to be really quick here because I don't want things to burn. Yeah, look at that. We can just place the cactus down, even next to solid blocks, which you can't do normally. Oh, there we go. I just burned a log as well, which hurts on the inside because it takes a long time to get logs. Let me just pick that log up. Okay, let me try this again. Oh, wait, I've run out of cactus. Now, I've been watching these chickens for a little while, and I don't think this idea is going to work, and this is why. Basically, the cactus is still a full block, even though it's recessed slightly, and you can still take damage by bumping into it. I did before. I was pretty sure. There you go. You can still take damage if you bump into it, but I think that the pathfinding on the chickens is going to prevent them from walking into this block anyway, because they'll walk up here and they'll walk up to this point, they'll see a solid block in front of them, and they'll have no reason to wander into the cactus. And it was my hope that their casual walking around in this area would just cause them to bump into these cactuses and take damage and die. But it's not working. So it's a really interesting quirk of the cactus. I'm just not sure how we're going to use it in this room. Apparently this trick will also work on the reed block, so if we have a quick look here... Ooh, that was interesting. That one popped off. And so did the one next to it. Now, I was really hoping that I could use a little trick which would allow me to plant several of them in a row together. Kind of so I could use it like a fence like this. Like, if you can imagine, right? We've got some reeds. Oh, I need to plant them with water, don't I? Of course. So we've got some reeds going along in a row like that. And I've got another block on top. No, even that wouldn't work. Well, it's a real shame. I'm interested in finding some ways where we could use this little quirk, because theoretically if those blocks never get updated, then they should stay that way, and that's what I'm hoping for. But perhaps there's a way we can use that quirk in the game to have some reeds like that. For the moment, perhaps I can just put some down here, you know, that shouldn't technically be there, just as a decoration block. Yeah, that's not too bad at all. And yeah, technically they should stay that way and never pop off. Until they grow. When they grow. Will they grow because there's no water? Let's leave them there and see what happens. No, it definitely looks like they're going to pop off, which means they do need to have a block on top of them. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like the reed is going to be as cooperative as the cactus. I wonder though, perhaps I can do it with the block already above it. Let me just pop these into my inventory. Yes, that will work, but it's really, really ugly. Look at that! I found a use! I feel like I've been in Alpha 1.2.0 for quite a little while now, but there's still a few features that we haven't even explored yet. In fact, I've got a list of things that we need to get through before we even think about upgrading. And some of them are bigger and some of them are smaller, so I want to tick off some of the smaller ones. Hey skeleton, notice how these guys are now carrying bows? They never used to do that until the Halloween update. Ow! Come on, come out into the sun. It's just coming up. Ow! Oh, you poor little thing. Ow. Oh, that was close. I'm out this way because I want to make some enhancements to this wheat farm. As you can see, the mobs are still getting in and tearing it up. I've put in this door now to see if that'll prevent them from being able to get in, but I want to put up some additional defenses as well. So if I come up to the back here and get some trusty old dirt out for some building blocks, put these down like this, I now should be able to make a jack-o'-lantern, which of course is new in this game, and you make a jack-o'-lantern by putting a torch in a pumpkin. And look at that, the jack-o'-lantern icon is not actually a lit jack-o'-lantern at all, it's just a regular pumpkin, so I presume they don't stack anymore. You just have to know that that one's a jack-o'-lantern and the other ones aren't. So if I pop this up here, yes, look at that, alright. So now we're going to give this thing some arms, like that, and a little body as well. So let's just get rid of the scaffolding blocks we have here. Pop down and have a look. Yes. Step away from the crops. Oh, that thing's scary looking. Okay. Another thing that I wanted to take a look at was the watch. That's right, in this version it's called a watch, not a clock. This is how you make a watch, and this is what it looks like. So, what does it do? Well, it tells us the time. Basically, it tells us whether it's day or night. Right now it's just past noon, so that's why you can see that the sundial there has followed the sun, and as the sun continues to turn in the sky, or continues to set in the sky, we should see the sundial in the clock, the dial in the clock, also turn with the sun. So if I wait just a little while, there it goes, one little extra pixel. As the sun gently moves across the sky, the dial in my watch also moves across. It's really cool. Now the clever thing about the clock, as you may be able to notice, is that as it moves in my hand, it also changes in the hotbar. So actually we can just leave it in our inventory like this, and anytime we want to check underground or something like that what the time is, we can just pop over in our inventory and have a look here. I'm going to wait for nighttime and then we're going to have another look and see how the clock has actually changed. Here's some considerably sped up footage of the day-night cycle, and as the sun goes overhead you can see the dial spinning, which is really awesome. The needle basically follows the sun, but what I love is when it goes down over the horizon like that, the moon comes out and a smaller moon needle follows the moon around the sky, so you know exactly how far through the night you are, which is fantastic. And then of course we have dawn again. I love the watch, I think it's amazing. It looks great and I don't use it enough and really should. I'm quite curious to know what happens when you take the watch into the nether. I've never really done that before. I mean, we know that the compass goes crazy in the nether, so let's pop through this portal over here and see what the clock does. Maybe if I'm heading into the Nether to do some work, I'll be able to keep observant of the overworld time. No, it goes crazy too. Now I want to talk about mob spawning a little bit, because I had noticed in the previous episode that the mob spawning on the surface here was considerably less, or at least it felt considerably less than I would have normally expected to see, especially around this area where we've got a lot of the surrounding areas lit up, and this is really the only spawning section. Of course, when I come out here and record, I'm getting creeped all over the place, but really, every night I might see 2 to 4 mobs maximum on the surface. I really couldn't understand why that was, and I was giving it some thought, and then I realized that in the Halloween release, one of the changes that was added to the game, and I suppose it's quite a subtle one, had to do with mob spawning. And I'll remind you of what the poster says. It says, "Experience scarier depths. The deeper you are, the brighter it has to be to stay safe." And what that tells me is that the spawning code changed, and indeed it did. Notch tweaked the spawning code, and look at you, skeleton. Notch tweaked the spawning code, which meant that the deeper that you were in a world, the brighter it had to be. Basically, that means that you need to put down more torches in order to stay safer in a cave. We all know that light level 7 is what mobs will spawn in at if it is 7 or below, but down deeper, I think it means that, say the light level is 9, that's still going to be good enough for a mob to spawn, so you need to put down more torches. This is actually really a surprising night, because I really don't get spawns on these platforms like I am right now. So I feel like I'm eating my words, but the reality is not the case. In this version, mob spawning is different, and it doesn't obey the traditional rule that we've always come to know and, well, I was going to say know and love, but I'm not sure we all love that rule. So let's chat a little bit about leaves and leaf decay. Leaf decay is an on-again, off-again, on-again, off-again thing in this game, because I think Notch had a lot of trouble with lag when it came to detecting leaf decay, and so yeah, it was just turned on and off many times throughout the game. At the moment, in these versions, leaf decay is off, and that means that when I chop down trees like this, I'm just stuck with these leaves, and I have to go in and bash them out manually like this. Which brings me to one point, which you might be noticing right now, and that is because the biome tinting was introduced in this game, in this version, and what that means is whenever I break a leaf block, instead of the leaf particles being the colour of the biome, they end up being grey. This gets fixed in a later version, but it does show you a little bit of the behind the scenes of how the game works. If you look in the texture files, these leaves are actually grey, and the game calculates the level of greenness required to display them. And that code did not get applied correctly to the particles. But when it comes to trees like this, it's really annoying. I have so many saplings, it doesn't matter. So my method at the moment is just to chop the trees down and then pop along with a flint and steel and burn the remaining leaves. And that gets rid of them really, really quickly. And while we watch the trees burn, I want to talk a little bit about slimes. They were added in version 1.0.11, if you remember, and they were absolutely everywhere. In the caves, in my base, just all over the place. And throughout the versions, I've hardly seen any up until this point. And there are a few reasons for that. One is that in version 1.0.14, slime spawning was reduced because they were appearing in abundance. And it was true, they were everywhere. But it also says that in that version, a miscalculation in the new limit has now caused slimes to spawn only in strange locations, so natural slime spawning has been disabled. I don't know what that means, I don't know what strange locations are, but I guess from that version on, slimes were no longer spawning. In version 1.0.17, slimes would spawn in multiplayer, but we don't really use multiplayer, so I didn't see any of that. And now here, in 1.2.0, slime spawning has been completely disabled. I don't know why. Maybe it's because the old spawning code was broken and Notch decided to just turn it off instead of fixing it, but we all know they come back in an upcoming version. There's only a few Alpha 1.2.0 pieces of administrivia left on my list, and it's funny because I do have to maintain a list of little things like this that I need to cover and explore, otherwise I'll just lose track of everything that changes in these games. But the last thing that I want to look at today, is I'm sorry to have to take you back to this place. I really am. But we want to have a look at something to do with the ghasts. Now, if we can get one to spawn out here without too much hassle, I want it to shoot a fireball at me because the texture of the ghast fireball is actually a snowball. And I didn't know that until it was pointed out to me in one of the comments, I think, or somewhere, I forget exactly. But I have been meaning to come in here and check it out properly. The ghasts are definitely around, they're just dying in the wrong places. I haven't been out here really to see the wonder that is this lava lake. Look at that old lava texture, it's just so different, isn't it? Okay, let's wait for a ghast to find us. There are a couple out there, but they're miles away. Why is it that whenever you want a ghast, they're never there, but when you don't want them, they're there in abundance? Alright, 4 of them. That's it, that's gotta be it. Oh, I didn't quite see that, but I want to see one of these ghast fireballs. Let's light up the area a little bit. Ooh, that looks like it hurts. Come on, ghasties. You. Yes. I need to see it properly. Oh, I want to see that in freeze frame. Slow-mo snowball, here it comes. Oh yeah, that is definitely a snowball if ever I saw one. Well, thankfully we got through a few things on my list there because we are getting ever closer to an upgrade now, and I can't wait. I love progressing through the versions and exploring all of the new features. But today, we've run out of time, I'm afraid. Thank you so much for joining me in this episode of Minecraft The Journey. Please give me all your feedback and all your love and support in the comments below. Hit the like button if you enjoyed the video and all of the good stuff that helps make my channel grow. Subscribe to the video if you haven't already. There's a Discord link down there as well if you'd like. I don't need to tell you what to do, you all know what to do. Thanks once again for watching. This has been bugmancx. You've been watching Minecraft The Journey. Bye bye.